Hey, it's Chuck, and this is Retirement Ain't Easy. In today's video, we're going to show you what I do with my time. I have a few things going on right now, and basically this is my life in retirement. And then after that, I'm going to go through my 6 months of finances, the last 2 quarters, and kind of give you a glimpse of where my money's coming from and where my money's going. So let's start out first with some of the hobbies. I'm currently besides reading, of course, I read at night and I read comic books, but otherwise, I have 3 things going on right now. The first one is, I'll call it Lego, but it's a company called Blockzone. If you go to blockzone.com or something like that, these are Legos for adults, Lego kits for adults, and this is what I've been working on. Just the lunar module and the command module. And you can see here, it's massive. It's just a massive, massive thing. Eventually, once I'm done, I'm in the middle of it right now. I've been doing this now for 3 weeks. 3 weeks to do the command module right there. And the lunar module is going to sit there. But once I'm done, like I said, and this is the manual right there, right? The building manual. It's pretty thick. It's 1,000 steps, and I'm on step 672. So, and there's just tons of pieces, and this keeps me busy for a couple hours a day. I'll come in here and I'll play around with this and put it together. My family knows that before I retired, I was building Legos all the time. I have Lego Batman, 66 Batmans, Lego Apollo 13 and all that kind of stuff. So I have to show some of those too. I have put in some pictures right here of those models that I've built in previous years. But these Blockzone kits, this is 7,000 pieces. Yeah, 7,106, give or take, pieces in multiple bags. Still working on that. I'd say I've got another week to go to get the lunar module put together, and then he'll be mounted up there and they'll be in a docking situation. That's what it's supposed to end up being. And I have built the little moon buggy there as well. That was the first thing to get. So that's hobby number 1. Second hobby, I've been working on an acoustic set list, and I don't know if I'm going to ever get out to play. I hope I do. But I went and got me one of these sparklive amps from positivegrid. Fairly inexpensive amp, and I call it an amp, but when you turn it on its side like this and I put it on a speaker pole, you can actually use it as a PA system if you're going out, busking on a sidewalk or something like that, or playing at a bar outside on a cafe or something like that. And so I've been practicing on that. I've got my microphone in here, and my pedal and my guitar. This isn't my music room. This is my comic book room. But been doing that. And so that's hobby number 2. I've been doing. The third thing, of course, is my model building. And if you watch the Captain America model, you know. And so this is my little model building area. I am currently working on the Speed Racer Mach 5. Got all the pieces here. Got to glue them all together. I have a spray booth, of course. I'm busy spraying those pieces there. Everything runs out the window to clear out the fumes. But this is my other hobby. I'll come up here and spend an hour or so. So I split my time between here and building the Lego thing and practicing my music. Okay, so I'm going to go through my finances, and just a quick note before I start showing some slides here. These are the last 6 months or last 2 quarters. So we're looking at April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months, the last 6 months. I did not include the first quarter, January through March, because 2 of those months we were living off of my paychecks from my previous job, because I retired on December 31st, 2023, so I got paid I worked the last week of December, so I got paid in January for that. And then they paid out my accrued vacation, which was quite a big chunk of money that I had available for that. So we actually lived on those two paychecks for the first couple months. And then I didn't get Social Security started until March. My first payment came in March. So I didn't include that first quarter. So what you're going to see here is a pretty much a stable line of normal dill. Okay, so this is just a 6 month spending versus my income. The line across the top is my income. And sorry, I'm not going to share my actual numbers with you. Don't know you that well. But you can see the orange is my total bills that we have each month. And the total discretionary is basically cash that we can do with whatever. That's where you get your groceries and things like that. And I can go into a little more detail on those things, but as you can see, it's pretty stable, pretty straight lines all the way across the last 6 months. So the budget doesn't change a whole lot. There are a couple things in August that I'll talk about here in a minute, but otherwise it's all good. So this is my categories by month. I break everything down into categories, and so I'll just go briefly over these. The loans part, the blue on the bottom, this is basically our mortgage and car payments. That changed in July because if you've watched a previous video, you know that I had a truck wreck in June, and the insurance company basically totaled my truck, although I thought it was fixable. They totaled my truck, so that car payment fell out of that. They paid off the car, and we got some equity there, and we continued on. So now we've got a car payment and a mortgage payment, except that that last car payment is in October this month, so we'll be free of that. The next deal is taxes, and in April I did pay some federal taxes, not a whole lot this time around, but we did pay taxes. And then there's insurance. Insurance is our car insurance, of course, which again that went down after the car wreck in June. It basically cut in half. The auto insurance cut in half, and then we pay. We go through the healthcare.gov deal and pay a monthly deal for health, and then we have United Healthcare. We buy from them vision and dental. And then from insurance, we go to utilities. We have gas, City of Garland water. We have AT&T phone bills. And then we have our internet connection. And then we have our electric bill. So you can see the amount there. It's pretty stable. It did bump up a bit in August and September. The electricity goes up every August and September because we have to run the air conditions here in Texas. And then from utilities, we go to subscriptions, and this is where you get your TV stuff. And really, this could be discretionary spending if you think about it that way. But we have Hulu, we have Disney, we have Paramount, and our main TV is provided by YouTube TV. It's a decent service. We get the local channels. We get to watch football games and stuff like that. So it's fine. I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube TV myself, but my wife does. And then finally, credit cards. We do still have some credit card debt that we're getting rid of. The big part of that is that we financed, well, I wouldn't say financed, we used some interest-free credit checks to pay a bathroom remodel back in December that carried over into January. So we put that on a card, and all these cards are interest free. We're not paying any interest on this stuff. Most these are all like 12 months free interest, 6 months free interest, those kind of things. So I stay away from interest charges. Okay, so next slide. Okay, this slide is just a pie chart view of basically what I just showed you. And again, this is over 6 months put together. So the loans is the blue. 24% of my bills are the loans. 24% is insurance. That little 2% there, that was my federal tax I had to pay back in April. 13% is on our utilities, electric, water, etc. Our YouTube TV, our Hulu, Disney Plus, all that is only 2% of our bills, the subscriptions part. Credit cards is the big part. We're still paying on some credit cards that we're clearing out. You know, they say don't retire if you have credit card debt or get rid of credit card debt. This one was right at the end of the year, and we remodeled a master bathroom. So it was a good investment, and it was interest free for 18 months. I think is what we got, maybe 2 years. And so, you know, we're paying on that. We're paying enough so that we're going to be out of that when the 18 months is up. So next year, 2025, we are going to be pretty much out of credit card debt. And I don't have any loan. The loans are going down because we don't have another car payment right now, but we probably will buy another car sometime next year. Next slide. Okay, so let me go through this real quick. This is my pre-tax income. First off, the easy stuff, Social Security, 19%. That's the gray pie chart right there. That's what I get every month. And so 19% of what I'm getting comes through Social Security. The orange is my pension. That's my steady pension I've been getting since I was 55 years old. I started my pension when I turned 55 because at the time the company I worked for that I recently retired from was very unstable. So there was a chance that we would have needed money and I would have been out of a job. So I started my pension, and that's when we actually refinanced our mortgage so that we pay less than an efficiency apartment. The black pie slice is an annuity, not very much there. I should have really took that money and rolled it into my IRA and let it grow there. But I went ahead and capped it and started the annuity this year, and you know, it'll keep going until, you know, after I'm gone. Social Security, pension. The green is a VCM. That's my management company, but that's my IRA. I have an IRA and I have a 401k. I don't need to touch my 401k for another 5 years. I have enough money in my IRA right now to last a good 5 years, and then the 401k will take me to my wife's death, actually. And I'll show those numbers. I'll show those here in a bit. But the IRA, I did do a withdrawal in March. That's not included in that green there. That's that green there. That 30% is a withdrawal I did in June, and then I was going to do another withdrawal in September, but I was offered a pension buyout, and that's what the big chunk of blue is there. From my pension company, they said, hey, we'll give you this big chunk of money if you allow us to cut your pension payout by 50% if you pass away. So if I pass away now, my wife only gets 50%. And I know some people are like, ooh, shouldn't have done that. Well, I discussed with my wife, and there are other things coming down the pipeline that that you don't know about. So we were okay with getting this big chunk of money right now. And also, they increased my pension monthly payment by $250 as well. So pension payout went up $250. I got a huge chunk of money that we're living on now. So that allowed me to keep my money in my IRA and keeping it growing. All right. So those are my slides from my budget. I basically pulled those numbers from my Excel spreadsheet to give you a glimpse of my life on a monthly basis. Now I'm going to show a few slides from a tool called New Retirement. It's called Boldin now. Yeah, Boldin is the tool now. I just renewed my plan this week, actually. And I update it once a month, and it gives me a feeling of okay. You know, I can look at my spreadsheets all day long, but putting the numbers in this tool helps me, and they can spit out Monte Carlo scenarios or whatever you want to call it. There's a pessimistic, there's an average, and there's an optimistic. So I'm going to show those slides for my numbers, and just to show you It's a feel-good tool. You can't use it to look back, but it is a good tool to look forward. So as far as tools, I use this to look forward, going forward. And if I wanted to plan things out, like if I want to do a RAE conversion or something like that, you can do that in there and see how the numbers change. But as far as a day-to-day budgeting and stuff, I use Excel spreadsheet, and then I use Quicken extensively. I've been a Quicken user forever, as long as I know. So I have a subscription to Quicken now that I renew every year, and that can throw out a whole lot of data as well, and keep track of all your investments and all that stuff as well. So new retirement for looking forward in the future. Quicken is my day-to-day, paying bills and all that kind of stuff. So here's some slides from new retirement. Okay, this first slide is, all these slides are showing how much money I have over the next however many years there. You can see at the bottom. This first slide, though, is an optimistic point of view. And when I say optimistic, this means the inflation is low, the stock market's kicking butt, and all things are good. And you can set these numbers inside new retirement to what you think they should be. You can set the COLA, for instance, for your Social Security from anywhere from 0.5% to whatever. I think I have it set to 2% right now as the optimistic view. So this optimistic view says that I have a 99% chance of fully funding my retirement. By the way, you never get a 100% chance. It never gives you a 100% chance, no matter what. And I have set the ages, my longevity ages in the tool for me is 86. If I live to 86, hallelujah. And then for my wife, I set it to 90 because we just celebrated her mother's birthday at 90. So my wife will easily outlive me. So this point of view shows that I have plenty of money, and my kids will probably inherit a bunch of money when I pass away, all the way out. And what this does not show or include is any income such as selling our house. This shows us living in our house till we pass away, for instance, and then any inheritance. So that doesn't include those kind of money coming in later. But you can do those in the tool. You can add that in the tool if you think such and such windfall's coming. You can stick that in the tool and see what happens. And you can do all kinds of things with Roth conversions and stuff like that. So let's go on to the next slide. So this slide is the average, and this is what I keep the tool on 100% of the time. I'm optimistic doesn't do me any good. The average is basically taking your optimistic numbers. Let's say you're saying Social Security, COLA, the cost of living is going to go up 3%. That would be the optimistic view, and then 0.5% would be the pessimistic view. Well, this average assumption is taking those two numbers and averaging it, and basically cutting it down the middle and saying, here's your average. Look. So based on that, I have a 99% chance of fully funding my retirement till I pass away at 86 or my wife at 90. Looking at these kind of numbers, which I have blanked out obviously, but if you look at these numbers, you can see that my kids are going to inherit some money at the end. In 2049, I'll be 88, for instance, if I live that long. So I have money good to go. And again, as I stated in the previous slide, this doesn't include any inheritance or selling of our house and moving to something, downsizing. This gives me a good feeling that we are on the right path, and retiring at 62 for me works. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, final slide, I swear. This is the pessimistic view, and you can see it says I have a 2% chance of funding my retirement all the way through to 86 for me and 90 for my wife. And you can see the numbers drop off. And like I said, when you set the view, the pessimistic numbers, like cost of living is 0.5% on Social Security, and the stock market basically tanks a lot, things like that. You can set those numbers inside the tool, and this is what it'll give you. This is still a good chart to me. as I said, in 2049, and if you look closely, where it says in 2049, I basically run out of money. I'll be 88 years old, and my wife will be 86 years old. And if I live that long, I will be happy. But we'll see. And again, this doesn't include us selling our house here and taking that equity and downsizing to something smaller, or any inheritance that we may come upon. It's still a good slide, even though it says a 2% chance of fully funding your retirement there. And I still can look at this and say, okay, I'm good. I'm good for at least 20 years, if not more. So we can go and live a nice, fruitful life, and not have to worry about money. So again, this is just examples of what New Retirement can do. Besides the coaching, gives you coaching tips and things like that, and it has a step-by-step on putting in your income, your accounts, and all of this stuff. You can actually set it up to where you can automatically pull all this data monthly for you as well. And I use the detailed budget planner in there. There is it's not a good thing to go to every week, I should say, for budgeting, but you can put in things that you're paying, and it uses those numbers to pull from. So this includes my budget that I presented in previous charts. Well, that budget is put into here, and it uses those numbers to set these graphs up. So as I said before, this has all my data in it, and it uses all that data to come up with these scenarios for me. And looking at these scenarios makes me feel like we're good, and I made the right decision retiring at 62. So I recommend it. It's expensive. I know I got a discount. At the time, I got like 10 or 15% off, and I'm stuck on that plan, which is great. I don't mind telling you, I paid $96 a year, but I think the annual is something like 100 or 110 or 120, something like that. Just go to newretirement.com. It's called Boldin now as well. I'm not pushing this. I'm just saying I use it for peace of mind. That's what I'm using it for. All right, so there you go. That's my finances for the year, and the hobbies that I'm working on right now, and how I keep busy in retirement. Besides the normal lawn care, fixing stuff around the house, that kind of stuff, I have the hobbies I'm doing. So I stay busy, and then of course I track my finances here and there, but I don't worry about them. I just need to remember I need to move this money here or this money there. So I hope you enjoyed this. Well, maybe not enjoyed, but it was informative for you. Like I said, I'm not pushing new retirement. Don't want anybody to get the idea that I'm a new retirement disciple or anything like that. But it has been useful for me to provide some peace of mind, even before I retired. Back in September this year. Last year, I got my subscription and filled in all the data, and that's when I said, I'm pretty sure I can retire at 62, and that's why this time last year I put in my notice. I gave them 3 months notice at my job, based on my spreadsheets, new retirement, peace of mind graphs, and then I have a buddy at work who looked at all my numbers and said they look good too. He's into all the investment stuff as well. So based on those 3 numbers, financially, that's why I retired. Now, other reasons I retired were mental based. The traffic was just killing me mentally. The job was sucking my soul, and we had lost a good buddy the year before. Had passed away practically on the job. I mean, he went on a business trip feeling bad, came back, went to the doctor, and never came back to work, and he died 3.5 weeks later, and that really shook a lot of us up. And I'm like, oh, screw this! I don't need this that bad. So I hope you enjoyed it. This was a little long. I didn't want it to be this long, so we'll see if I can edit it down some. So take care, and we'll see you next time. This is Chuck from New Retirement. this, this is Chuck from Retirement Ain't Easy. Oh, I'm not pushing new retirement, really, I'm not.